What is up, peeps? So here's the next installment. I think today we're going to focus on Missouri. It's sort of a really hard state to deal with because there's such a vast tract of land, sort of like Mississippi, um, that these creatures can come and go from. But we're going to apply our techniques and find some locations for you in Missouri, and we'll check it out and get started here. So if you look, we pulled up the map here just to coincide with it on the ArcGIS. And a lot of the sightings are in the southern half. There are some sightings in the northeast, which we kind of talked about, how that would be their east-west movement. But a lot of times I try to focus on the north-south movement because it makes more sense to me. If you look at the sightings on the map here on the left, it would coincide with a lot of the forested land down through Missouri. So what we're going to do is kind of get our hubs created where they're going to spend near the Mark Twain National Forest. We know that this is a huge hub, but what we're going to try to do is we branch out. We like to find the travel routes, and a huge hub happens to be in southwest Missouri. So we're going to focus on some of that in southwest Missouri and how they can get back and forth from the Mark Twain National Forest. That's going to be some of our goal today. So what I've done is I've outlined this area instead of whiting it out like I did in the other states. This is a region that's a major region where they're able to spend time. Highly forested area. Obviously, it's south of St. Louis. You could go through here and find the areas where they would be at, but it is so vast down through here. The chances of you locating one, I mean, the chances are slimmer. So what we're trying to do is put it together where are they going to come out of these regions and where are they going to go when they head southwest, because a lot of sightings are southwest in Missouri. Alright guys, so one of the things that I've noticed right off the bat here is there's sort of a funnel going on, and it's just based on the way the forest area, if you look, kind of it just travels the way it's broken up, whether it's cities or any other situations. They just kind of work in a pattern that you can see, and we're going to draw that out kind of no matter where. So if you kind of look already, we have probably one of the largest areas that they will come through. I mean, there are others, but this is just based on the way the timber kind of flows in this westerly direction. It all kind of impedes toward an area just east of Willow Springs, and how they would have to navigate through there to get more west, I would say. Alright, so what we're going to do is we'll outline this as a small hub area here. But what we have to do, the goal is to figure out where they're moving and why would they move there. And then I can put a point on the map and say, hey, this is where you should go look. So right away when we look at this, we've got an issue. We've got a city, we've got a bunch of major intersections that I told you they try to stay away from these Ys. Even if it's 500 yards, half a mile. To them, what we noticed is it encapsulates them, and they kind of know that anybody could come into their territory from the like in this area, from the 137, from Hutton Valley. They don't have that backdoor safety, is what I call it. And it's just something that they won't get themselves stuck in that predicament unless it's absolutely necessary. So when we look at this, if we've got 3 travel hubs coming in, right, out of their major forested regions, Rocky Creek Conservation Area, the rest of it to the east, it all funnels down right in here. And for them to make it west, Dora, Rockbridge, even towards Springfield, Shell Knob, you can see, let's just draw that out, you can see the way the forest area runs. So there's certain things we have to do. We'll keep these on the map for later. And you can see the way they break off. And we're just going to draw these lines out, give you some ideas, just so you know. So that they could have went that way. But to me, it makes more sense. We're going to draw in all the lines because I have to know where they're moving to, and you know what the terrain features are, what they have to get around. So one of the reasons too, I'll get back to the rest of the map, but one of the reasons I'm seeing that the Southwest may have so many more sightings is you can see the open territory and land. So if they have to get from Flag Creek or to Roaring Springs, there's not much they can do. You know, they can follow the fingers and everything, but this region right here, to me, probably would make some sense. And it's just a little, like a causeway right there for them to get to point A to point B, or they're crossing a ton of fields, cities. I mean, if they come out of the Roaring Springs State Park area and they head this direction, take them down, you know, at least they'll have forested region. It'll be tight, but all the way down through, and they can get their way up into this area. So to me, if they're looking to get into this area, no matter where they come from, it's more forested in the south, so they may not take the north route near Washburn as much. That would be my solution to this. I would say a good research location would possibly be where they could cross the 90 here. It runs for quite some distance. Alright, so we got a lot going on here. Map Missouri out as so far as best as I could. So this is definitely their hub where they would spend most of their time. It's the most forested area. But as they leave and head toward the southwest, you've got these blue hubs. This one we'll get some more data on because it's very interesting, because you have a hub and a hub where they have to get forced through a really tight area, and you have Willow Springs that's in the way. So you know, you would either have to go way south, or you would get forced through a region right up in here along this. Let's just mark this out real quick. Let's just call it from there to there. We'll save that, and then let me see here. Let's back out just a little bit. Even if they came from the south region here, I'll take it as far down as I could, but this would seem more sensible to me, like that. So if you look, it's a connecting region where they are probably, well, most likely going to have to funnel through this region to travel east and west, which is really good because I don't know why. I mean, I'm guessing, but I don't know why there's not a ton of sightings right in this region. So as we kind of zoom down into this region, you got the 137 right along this 137 that they're kind of bottlenecked down into. You got a larger city down here, as you can see. We can back out a little bit to the north. You know, they could go north, I mean, but you've got more cities, and this is kind of open region up through here. So there's really no reason for them, you know, if they can stay, again, unimpeded, this is a perfect area for them to do it. And I'm really looking at this lower section right in here. So what I've done in this region along the 137, where it kind of bottlenecks them down, there's 4 points that I would definitely be interested in. One is where the 1130 comes into play off the 137, just north of the 3780. You've got a region where there's some houses, but it's a clear shot for them to come back through this territory here if they're moving on the east and west. Just up the road from that, on the bend of the 137, forested land. They'd have to cross the 1130 over here, you know. But there's really nothing in the way where they're, you know, probably going to get seen. A lot of this, you know, they might do at night too. Same thing, just down the road on the 137. these are the regions where they can come in and out of between homesteads and ranches. And if they have to use the northern sections up through here, where the 1130 is, it's all broken timber up in here, a lot of broken timber. So they're going to use these fingers. Fingers are where the woods like narrow down based on the fields and stuff like that. But this might be a region up here where one would get spotted in some fields, because it's kind of forced to, unless it keeps coming south, it would be forced to, show itself through one of these fields as it cut from timber to timber sections. And sometimes they do get forced to do that, but based on my, research, those are the 4 best pins in this region where they would cut across east and west. So essentially what you did is you narrowed down, I don't know, this is a 300-mile line through all these cities. Not to say that they couldn't be, but it's very forested. It's very heavy. It may be more rural, whatever the situation is. Do they see them? I'm sure they see them. But the goal is to pinch them down. Let's get them funneled through regions where, hey, we're not searching 40, 80, 160,000 acres. We're searching 20 to 100 acres, where at some point in the year they're going to have to come through this region because they don't have a choice. So as they were to move off, they got a few ways from Willow Springs. They can kind of head south. They could, cross channel. They could come around the top. And what it does is it all leads to another hub. Just the way the timber's broken apart, they're not going to walk through the cities as much as they need to. They're going to avoid. The whole goal is obviation. They're avoiding. They're avoiding people. It all comes down to a hub southwest of Chadwick, which we can look into this region right here. There's another holdup region. It's just kind of off the cuff that I like. Surrounded by creeks. The region right here, which would be east of Hilda, off the 125 kind of. It's just unbroken land where they can, it's more like a respite for them. It's dense, and maybe if they've been ducking and dodging and trying to get through a lot of these city locations, and they get into that area just east of Hilda, between the 125 and the 160, they may just hang out up in here for a little bit till they figure out, what the game plan is, kind of like you or I would do. Coming back to south of Chadwick, you can see we've got a hub in and out, kind of the way they have to move. This red line is just rough. They could be coming down through here. Here's another good tract of land that they may be coming out of here, if you take a look at it. Now we just have to figure how they would get from there to their destination if they're headed east-west or even south. So I would tell people not to look on the east side here. I wouldn't look on the east of the 125. I wouldn't go over here because it's a huge chunk of land, right? What our goal is as they come across this region from north or south, or where are they funneled from? These red lines are showing like, hey, this is the way the timber flows. Here's into Pine Ridge. So now this, I would be looking on the west side here, on this western, let's say, like, let me see, back this up a little bit. Yeah, because up near Chadwick, it's kind of broken a little bit. I mean, you're kind of looking in this territory here, right down by Grayson, and we're going to save that a different color. I'm just trying to break it up for you guys so you can understand, like, the area that they have to come through. So now the whole state, right, you've shrunk that down right here in this corridor region, where 3 different regions come together, 3 different ways they can travel come together right here. I don't know the distance of that line. I can measure it, just roughing it here. So you have 6 miles. That's it, 6 miles. I say that's it, but when you look at the other sections of the state where they could be coming from, well, you have hundreds of miles over here to the east. So this hub right here is probably one of the best spots that I would, where are you? Branson is west of here, southwest. So you're looking at Pine Ridge, the Pine Ridge area. Now let's see if we can put some points on the map here. All right, here we go. So that took a little bit. So what we did is we kind of, you got like a river and you got a highway. I think this is the 125 here. I tried to break this down to regions, east and west here. How would they get across without, all this open plain territory? Is it possible? Yeah, but they're going to try to stay hidden. So when you really look at this, you get a bottleneck kind of, let me draw it out for you. You get a smaller one. So you've got, like if I extend this line here up to here, right? You've got this region. And then you've got the upper line up here, which kind of bottlenecks you into this region right here, right? So I looked along this creek and I said, well, where would be the safest place for them to cross, right? And we like to say, just like here possibly too, I gotta add another one, just being fair, not writing it off, but you got more stuff going on there. There's like a ranch there. Woods to woods crossing where they can come down. But look at how much you've narrowed everything. You know what I mean? The whole state you've narrowed down to a junction on Swan Creek. Do you understand what I'm saying? Or just up from Swan Creek. This junction on Swan Creek, I'm going to have to give you, what is that? Swansville Cemetery or Loving Ridge Road. Just north of Loving Ridge Road. The other one is kind of in the same loop, a little bit more desolate, but it would be completely opposite of, I don't know if this is a farm. To me it looks like a farm, so I'm not really seeing, but it's still on Swan Creek. Swan Creek is going to play a huge factor in them moving east to west. If we try to get past the Swan Creek area, they could come through right here, which is a potential. It kind of narrows down here. The creek narrows down. You can get some good traffic through there. Not a lot of houses, which could bring them into this region, and then they can cross. The other two marks that I see, if they come from north, it's still, I think, on the, I think that's, no, it changes. So that is the creek. That's a different creek, right? This is Chadwick Road. Chadwick Road, right? Whoop. Sorry about that. So these two place marks are on Chadwick Road, just outside these houses, just south and north on Chadwick Road. These are two locations that they would definitely probably cross coming east and north. As you can see, I've laid it all the way out for you, all the way down. Swan Creek plays a huge factor. These two regions right in here off of Loving Ridge Road, I would really pay attention to, because it comes out of some really dense forested area, and they're going to look to cross timber to timber, or creek, by the creek there. The other place marks that I found are more southern. Let's see, we're just south of, what is that? Bar K Wrangler Campsite. The road is Hines Lane Road, which also crosses near Barber's Creek. This junction between Swan Creek and Barber Creek, right here off of Hines Road, this is a little, it's a thoroughfare for them. This is going to be a way that they can cross, probably one of the safest regions they'll cross. If it were me and I was in Missouri or near here off the 125, just south of Swan Creek recreational area, in this southern timber right here, I believe they're going to do quite a bit of crossing to get east and west. If you know what time of season that is, that's ideal. Plus you have the hub in the blue up here to the northwest. That's how they can funnel in and out of the region. If they continue to come south into sand like the Sandman campsite area, whatever this timber is, and they had to cross down through here near Peace Cemetery, again, it's still Swan Creek. So Swan Creek off the 125 is definitely playing a role. And you can see here how they can cross the 125, maybe a bridge or timber to timber, You know, it's these funneled down areas that you really have to look at, but you also have to write off some of the other areas. You have to do your due diligence and put certain things into place. Now, all them pinpoints on that map, you go, you check them out, you see what you find. You may not find a lot of structures and things like that. You may just find certain corridors that you have to follow, which may lead to structures, and you can say, aha, well, they're coming through. And then if you have cameras or doing whatever you're doing in your research, eventually they're going to come through these areas. Literally, I'm putting points on the map in Missouri, in every state for you, because I want to show you, you know, how they'll move. You can get out there and do this yourself. We've got two other areas where it just south of BB's, what is that, BB's Run, what did that say? Okay, so Roaring River State Forest off the 112. Right in that hub, there's some creek area to the west. I'm guessing that this is a highway here, right? What road is that? That's the 1017. And then I don't know if it's going to show what this is or not. Doesn't say. Don't know if that's a private drive. This is near Seligman Hollow. This is a key area. So anyway, this is, what is this? Piper Hollow. This must be parking off the 2239. Just south, this would be south, kind of west, or more west of Roaring River State Park. So if you could do that hike and get in on this creek location right here, this is a perfect crossing where the creek narrows down, where you're getting some slopes that come into a flatter area, flatter tract of land. I would focus on that creek region right there as they kind of come down through that thick timber. That's a big timbered area in here, so that this may be traveled more, you know, north and south instead of east and west. But you can see that funnels down, you know, toward the southwest also. There was two more marks in the southwest. This one completely fell. At some point, I think something's going to have to come through there, even though it's so close to a house. You're off to 37 here by, I don't know what road this is. This is Farm Road 1050. So you're right on a 37 there. Sorry. But the way the fingers of the land rolls, to me, that's a no-brainer. At some point, it's going to come through there. When you look at the larger picture, like, hey, anything to the south, they're in the open fields. It's almost like this finger is going to play an important role in their travel. That finger right there, that section of timber. So I bet you if you went to these people's houses here, they've heard something, and that's off of what? Hunter's Glen Road and stuff like that. I guarantee they've heard something or maybe seen something, because there's no way, because to the south, all this open area here, they're not going to travel that. I mean, maybe at night if it's a quick type of thing, but the other way makes total sense to me. And the last segment that I've come up with is off of the NN. I guess that's a highway out there. It's just one of the ways that they can get back and forth through here. The coordinates are down on the bottom here. If you actually take a look, you can see the actual coordinates on Google. So maybe you can check that out yourself, because there's no real place marks there. I don't know if there's a road that we can... Well, down here would be, it said something, Faith Hollow Lake. But I'm not really seeing any. There are a couple roads here. NN off the what? It'd be nice if this wasn't just a private drive. Let's see. Well, it's not labeled. But we have a road here, and you're going to be southwest of this road. This road here is the FR 1015. So this is a key crossing area for me. This is where I would be, you know, along with all the other places I'd be doing my due diligence. And this is for people all across the state. So they say, hey, you know, you didn't give me an area to search. Well, yes, I did. I'm showing you all across this state where they would hold up. You got a lot of water in this area here. There's going to be a holdup area for them here that I didn't mark. This is a lot of timbered area. We're going to save that because they're going to come in and out of there. But again, the hubs are what you don't want to search. You don't want to search the hubs. Well, people are going to say, why? That's the best place in their habitat. Well, the chances of you finding them in their hubs and getting the evidence you need in their hubs, whether the evidence is a photo, a foot track, a hair sample, I would want to go to regions where I could narrow it down. And you can see the hubs and the movement across the entire, lower part of the Missouri here. Like, it's phenomenal. And you just have to get into these pinch point areas, go back through the video, check all the situations where I put it on our map based on our research. You're going to come up with some evidence. Do me a favor, get back to me. Let me know. I'm telling you, just take a year. If you're down there and you're really going to start searching, these are the regions that they're going to get forced through. It's like a bottleneck as they move through the state to state, things like that. You get into those bottleneck regions, you set up your cameras, you do your horseshoe method, you look for structures, you figure out which way they're coming in and out, you figure out what time of year, and you start to narrow all this evidence down, all of it. And then finally it's going to get to one little point, one little area, and you're going to say, this is it right here, this is when they come through, this is how I'm going to set up, this is the situation. Basically I'm trying to take everything we have and narrow it all down for the people that aren't your, I don't know if you want to call them top searchers in the game. I don't know. I'm just doing this to help people so people can get out, have more experiences, learn more about what's in the field, learn known animals, learn certain things, and go to these precise areas on the map. And a lot of other game is going to have to travel through these pinch points also, to get east to west or north to south, whatever it may be. But the end goal of this is to turn this whole map together and say, hey, look at all the points on every state in the map and look how they tend to travel and what happens and where our best, if you want to call it an algorithm, using the algorithm, where our best locations are at certain times during the year. And people can start to use this, not just based on sightings, but based on probable travel routes. Alright guys, like I say, like, sub, share. You can get in contact with me. I usually have my website and my email in the description. This is just another part in the series, and I hope you like it. We're trying to put this together for everybody, and it's not easy, so do your due diligence. Thanks guys.